have the story Island Born by Junot Díaz, and I'm going to tell you exactly what questions to ask while you're reading this book with your kids so that you're getting the most out of reading comprehension. The themes developed in this book are identity, belonging, the power of collective memory, confronting historical trauma with storytelling, the inherent connection we have to our origin, multicultural experiences, reconstructing the past. There's a metaphor in here about a monster and a dictator, so dictators, monsters, and lastly, resilience and solidarity. All right. First question, central idea. What problem is Lola facing and how does she plan to resolve it? All right, so quickly the problem she's facing, she's got this project that she has to make a drawing of her homeland, like the place she came from. She goes to a school that is super diverse, a lot of international kids, and a lot of these kids were born abroad, so they remember what it was like abroad. Lola's problem is that she was born in the Dominican Republic, but they left when she was a baby, so she has no memory. So she's like, how am I gonna do this project? This is where the theme of collective memory comes in, because she tells her teacher, she's like, oh, tons of people on my block know what it's like there, so I'm literally just gonna ask my neighbors. So there we see the theme of collective memory starting to be developed. The fact that she goes to a multicultural school, like all these kids are from different places, that is our multicultural experience being developed. And so yeah, like her problem is she's coping with the fact that she doesn't remember. All of these kids remember. All of these kids are talking about the place that they came from. They're all reminiscing. They're all excited about the project. And she's like, I don't remember. How can I be excited about this project when I literally don't remember and all these kids remember? So she figures out she's just gonna have to talk to people in her neighborhood who know. She's gonna have to tap into the collective memory. And she does that on these few pages. Next question, key detail. What specific details tell us about the island, the Dominican Republic? So lots of specific details. They talk about delicious mango. They talk about the fact that music is everywhere. They talk about the fact that everything is colorful. Bats. Apparently there are bats. I didn't know this. I haven't Googled this. The extreme diversity of it, and coconut, the agua de coco. So like I guess drinking water, the coconut water straight out of a coconut. And those are the things that people bring up that remind them of the island and that they miss from the island and that are like unique. Like coconut water here is not the same as coconut water there. A mango here is not the same as a mango there. Music, the colors, so just lots of like standout cultural things. So this is she is building her memories through the collective memories of the people around her. She is reconstructing the past simply by being able to reach out to the people in her community and ask them like, hey, what do you remember from the island? What stands out to you? What did you love? What did you miss? Tell me something about the island. Her inherent connection to her origin. I think she feels that pretty deeply, like she knows that she has zero memory of there, but she still is like, but I'm still really connected to this place. And that also gets into the themes of like identity and belonging. So she is finding her belonging through her identity, even though she never actually, well, she did live there, but she doesn't have any memories of it. So she's remaking that connection. All right, so she goes home, she's talking to her mom, she's talking to her abuela. Her abuela talks to her about the fish and the dolphins and the whales. And here we start to deal with some trauma and some bad things, some bad memories. Next question, key details. What information does the author give us about why they left? And like that she has no memory of this. So here, they say that she was a baby when they left and they lost everything in a hurricane. So this was probably like Hurricane Georges or like Hurricane Fiona or like any hurricane. So her grandma tells her this story traumatic story. They lost everything, and you're in a situation where it's like, I have to leave this country with my daughter and her teeny tiny baby because we have literally nothing left. That's a traumatic situation to be in. But now they're past that. The little girl is grown up and she's able to tell this story. So the grandma herself is confronting this traumatic experience through telling a story. We also see the themes of resilience and solidarity, because the mom and her daughter clearly had to be extremely resilient and had to have a lot of solidarity, stick together. We're gonna get through this together, even though like they're just crouching in a blanket underneath a roof that's probably about to disappear on them, right? So yeah, we're starting to get into the detail, into the theme of like confronting trauma through story, and like people being able to move past trauma by being able to share it in a story. Okay, so Mr. Mir is coming up. This is where she's talking to Mr. Mir. Okay, character relationships. Next question, character relationships. Does Mr. Mir help or hurt Lola's DR project? Now, at first, when she meets Mr. Mir, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I have bad memories from the island. You don't want to hear my memories from the island. Go talk to somebody else. So Mr. Mir is like, he's definitely another example of the trauma that caused them to leave the island. Okay, but ultimately, does he help or hurt? So she does go back to Mr. Mir, and her mom and her grandma encouraged her to. They were like, nobody knows more about the island than Mr. Mir, the guy who did not want to talk about the island. So what he shares, it helps her. Ultimately, it helps her, but he shares a dark side. So here we definitely have Mr. Mir confronting historical trauma through stories, because he himself is confronting the trauma that he experienced by telling it to Lola. He's confronting it, he's dealing with it, and at the end he has a smile on his face, so perhaps it kind of helped him to share his story with the next generation, so that the next generation kind of like remembers and respects and honors, you know, the very difficult history that that previous generations went through in their home country, in the DR. So he's also reconstructing the past, and specifically what Mr. Mir is talking about is like Trujillo, and there's even an allusion to the Mirabal sisters, if anybody has read In the Time of the Butterflies. So that is what Mr. Mir brings to the story and what he adds to Lola's project. Next question. All right. She goes home. She is furiously and excitedly and happily working on her project, which becomes an entire book. She is super excited to go to school the next day and share everything. Which, remember, she was originally super nervous about this because she was like, oh, all the other kids, like, they already know about their country and I don't know, and I'm gonna have to ask everybody, and I'm gonna have to tap into this collective memory of my community. Last question, central idea. What did Lola learn over the course of this story? So, she already had a sense of identity and belonging with her culture, but she didn't know anything about it. She had to tap into that collective identity, that collective memory that she knew her community had, and she does that. So that allows her to probably feel her culture like more deeply and feel more a part of it. And that gets into the inherent connection to her origins, so she probably feels more deeply connected to the place where she's from. We also have confronting historical trauma with storytelling. So while she learned about two very traumatizing events, the hurricanes and the dictator, she was able to connect that to resilience and perseverance and solidarity that the people of her island had to tap into to overcome those things, to overcome the damaging and trauma of the hurricane, and to overcome a dictatorship. And I think that kind of covers it. So she really learned a lot. That is the story Island Born by Junot Díaz.